Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we are returning to Suzerain Rizia, a new DLC out for Suzerain, which is a political choose-your-own-adventure role-playing game. In Rizia, you are a monarch in a sort of fictional country in the 1950s, really a fictional universe, the Suzerain Universe. And as we've gotten a little bit further into the game, we've seen a little bit more interaction with the timeline that exists in the base game with Swordland. Not a ton of overlap, but there definitely is overlap between the two. You know, Swordland's not our neighbor, so it's not shocking that there's not a ton. But yeah, we're into episode 11 in this series, so we're quite a ways into the gameplay. I'd say we're probably, I mean, I don't know, because at the time of this recording I haven't finished it yet, but I would imagine we're more than halfway through. The basic situation is that the country is in a bit of an energy bind. I wouldn't say a crisis yet, but a bit of an energy bind. We discovered a large oil field off the Duchy of Pals, which is our neighbor to the south. Pals had at one time been part of an empire that we were part of as well, and that our kings had ruled over for a time. They have broken away successfully. We fought an unsuccessful war like 20 years ago to try and take Pals back, and that failed largely due to the support of Lesbia, which is a capitalist nation to the north of us, a very rich and technologically powerful nation to the north. And this gas field has been discovered off of Pals. Pals is claiming the entire ownership of the field. Our analysts believe we are entitled to 50% of the field due to the proximity of an island of ours to there. They're claiming there's not enough people on that island for it to count as territory of ours. And so we've submitted our case to an international arbitration. In the last episode, we went to the actual sort of United Nations in this universe to make our case. It seemed to go reasonably well, but we'll see, because the Grand Duchy of Pals has the support of the capitalist countries. So they may not, they may not care, and they may lean on the UN to deny our arbitration request. In order to solidify our position, we did put some warships around the field, denying a drill ship of Pals, which was trying to go and start extraction on the field before the case had been ruled. And so that's the situation that we find ourselves in. That's a long-winded explanation, and it feels very real-life political. It sounds like something you'd read about in the South China Sea or something like that. So that's where we find ourselves here in this episode. This was taken from a live stream on my Twitch channel, and if you're interested in, seeing the full VODs of this, because it was from a live stream, you can follow the links over there and watch over there. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump back into the stream, and I hope you guys enjoy. Romus Toras Association leads peaceful protest against Valen's AN decision. Good. Rail link fails. Alright, family vineyards. It still says we have one authority. Can I do anything with that? Public sea transportation subsidies? It's such a weird... It's such a weird choice to go with. There has to be a bug where they think the coal mine costs 2 authority, because the other 1 authority option still is there. Why does building a university give us more military equipment? So I've got money, but I can't do much with it right now. Sea transport, which would help increase conscription. Manpower is not the problem for our... I'm not really trying to build up a huge army. I'm trying to build up a navy. I guess we'll do the university. And threat mitigation protocol. What's the news have to say? New university dedicated to King Romus Toras intellect. Valen announced it throws Zil into confusion. Significant reduction of Arcasian military presence in war-torn regions. So Arcasia is trying to avoid conflict, which again makes me think they will not get directly involved in supporting Lesbia over Pals. Alright, what happens at the family vineyard? In the fertile fields of quails, the Canavuto vineyards were among the oldest in Rizia. They were run by a revered winemaking family now in their 5th generation who had long ago been awarded noble status for the fine wines they provided the kingdom. Tonight, they had invited my family and council over for the ceremonial uncorking of their latest vintage, Romus the Red. Bottled on my coronation day, it was now ready for drinking. I wished I was in more of a celebratory mood. Valen's announcement at the AN had plunged the country into panic. I was besieged by demands to take action to get Zil back. And if that weren't enough, the tensions with Pales were higher than ever. We were still awaiting the arbitration results. In the meantime, the Rizian Navy remained deployed around the Aurorian field, despite the international community's growing concern. For now, all I had to do was open a wine bottle, but even that was politicized. Hugo had stressed the importance of keeping the Cantavuto family loyal to our house. Our motorcade rolled up to the vineyard entrance, where a festival tent decorated in the blue, white, and gold of the Rizian flag had been set up. After a thorough security sweep, my mother Estella, Vina, Hugo, and I proceeded to our table. Pavel smoothly approached and poured a glass of sparkling water. I had the pleasure of supervising the pre-tasting with the vineyard staff. I must say the family had truly outdone themselves this time. How splendid. I honestly think you'll love it. It's light on the palate at first, but it's hidden depths. That sounds perfect, Mr. Arda, but please stick to conservative pours for His Majesty. It's unbecoming of a king to get intoxicated at these functions. Lucidia, Elena, and Lorento walked past us and were seated at the table next to ours. All three were dressed more festively than the simple formal wear they wore to council meetings, but Lucidia's slinky, intricately beaded yellow gown was particularly eye-catching. My mother turned to me and muttered under her breath, "Oh my, the mountain of Monteclar. The mountains of Monteclar are on full display tonight." Okay. Mountains? What are you talking about? And how? Oh, God. I can't imagine being like, "You're right, Mom. Look at the rack on her." Like, that's basically what... And how? Vina rolled her eyes in disgust. In this case, it's especially important for our wealthiest citizens to be reassured that their assets will remain stable. My daughter really, like, flipped a switch. That guy's got his hold on her. Like, she was super into politicking, and she was very interested in being the heir of the king. And now she's all like, I don't even care about this stuff. I don't even want to be here. Sword lover. My esteemed fellow nobles. The wine of this vineyard has always delighted our palate in times of joy and calmed our nerves in times of sorrow. As the most privileged province in Rizia, Valkyris has a duty to lead the way forward. We should not hesitate to look to our fellow royal houses for support. I'm making a very monarchist speech here. Toros, Azaros, and Sazon families are all integral to Rizian prosperity. By uniting, we will stay strong. For now, we will bear witness to the miracles that the Cavenuto family have worked with the humble grape. So 4 is obviously the romance option, right? Well, we are romancing her, so... To all of you... I tried to lay on thick with the sucking up to the folks here, because at the end of the day, it's really just about pleasing the local, you know, leaders. It was an honor to be called on stage, Your Majesty, although I am sure your relations weren't happy with the choice. I wanted you up there with me. I spent a good several hours mingling with relatives and fellow nobles, posing for photographs with the winemakers, and fending off journalists. Every time I attempted to sit down and eat, I was deluged with more requests. My glass, on the other hand, was constantly being refilled. By the end of the evening, I was having some trouble keeping names and faces straight. The tent gradually emptied out as the guests departed. The winery had an attached luxury villa, where our delegation had been invited to stay for the night. Hugo, Estella, Vina, and I began saying our final goodbyes before making our way upstairs. Despite the shaky start, I think our fellow guests came away quite happy. I'd call this evening a smashing success. With the emphasis on smashing, Vina was clutching my mother's arm, looking half-dazed. Romus the Red! Long may... That's right, darling. Now get to your bed. I heard an uproarious burst of laughter from the other side of the room. My three counselors were still at their table. Lucidia's eyes were sparkling as she regaled the others two with an apparently hilarious antidote. I'll be right behind you. I just have to say goodnight to my staff. Take your time, sweetheart. She gave me a knowing smile. Vina was too busy attempting a pirouette in her ball to give register to what I'd said. As my family headed out, I walked over to my counselor's table. And he just stormed into my barracks without a stitch on, screaming, if you weren't a duchess, I'd have you drawn and quartered. Having a good evening, Duchess Azaro? Oh. She, Lorento, and Elena immediately straightened up and stopped laughing. Your Majesty, the Duchess was telling us about the time she hid her commanding officer's fatigues while he was swimming. It was a dare and basic training. I had to scrub the kitchen floor for 3 weeks, but it was worth it. It was part of a drinking game, Your Majesty, a rather infantile one. Can I play? If you think you can handle it, Your Majesty. Pobble, some wine for the king, please. Right away, Mr. Equewell. Pobble approached the table and gave me a generous pour of the Romanus Red. Why don't you play too, Pobble? No. That would be inappropriate. Thank you, Pobble. Now, have you played facts or fiction before? I have not. It's simple. You tell us 3 statements about yourself. 2 of them have to be true. 1 must be a lie. Each of us then guesses which statement is false. If I guess the wrong one, we have to drink. She gestured to Pobble, who was quickly topped up her wine glass. It was just my turn. I'll let His Majesty choose the next player. Get her drunk? Okay. That feels a little bit, Duchess Azaro, you can go again. As you wish, Your Majesty. Despite my Azaro heritage, I couldn't stand the sight of blood as a child. There was a time when I fainted from pricking my own finger. My cousin Zola confided in me that she despised her husband-to-be, so I falsified evidence that he was having an affair with a commoner. The engagement was broken off at once. And I have a lucky set of undergarments that I wear to important meetings and military exercises. Intriguing, dear Duchess, but false. Azaro doesn't fall prey to superstition. She's probably wearing the lucky underwear right now, right? So wait, what were the 3? She couldn't stand the sight of blood. She falsified evidence that her despised husband-to-be was having an affair. I bet she's wearing the lucky underwear now. The question is whether she falsified evidence or whether she was scared of blood. I would... Part of me thinks she actually killed my dad because he was going to go to war with Pales. Lucky underwear. What underwear? What underwear? Maybe you're right. Maybe she doesn't wear underwear. Maybe that's the twist. Yeah, I'm going to go with the blood thing. I don't wear underwear on important days. Ha ha! Okay. Okay. Yes, Pablo, remind me to call important meetings more often. We all deserve some reprieve from the stiff formalities of royal life. My apologies to you both. I was only trying to be helpful. Go ahead, Mr. Equabel. With pleasure. When I'm in diplomatic meetings that I know is trivial, I draw caricatures instead of taking notes. When I was just out of the university, I challenged the mayor of Sibyllus to a duel. I accidentally shouted, "All hail the new queen," at His Majesty's King Valero's coronation. So which one's the lie? You're not really doodling in my meetings, are you? I've heard the duel story 100 times, Lorento. You didn't challenge the mayor of Sibyllus. It was just the Earl of Jails. Okay. So the other two are true? I guess I'm going to be wasted. I still find this childish in my day. If people wanted to get drunk, they got drunk. But if you insist. I have an antique coin collection that's worth more than my house. My late husband and I once undertook a 3-week sailing trip to Galmond and back, and I once had to stop Queen Liza from purchasing a diamond necklace with the Rizian treasury money. Hey, Wolfpack, thanks for the raid. Hope you had a nice stream. Were you doing more what was it, Squad 44 or whatever the World War II game you were playing? I didn't set the game I'm playing? Really? Can you fix that finish? There's no way your coin collection's worth that much. I don't know. We're getting drunk, guys. I mean, not in real life, but in this game. We're getting drunk with our counselors, and apparently the chick that I've been wooing does not wear underwear to important meetings, so presumably she is not wearing underwear in this one. You didn't sail to Gamland. If there was one thing you hated more than sailing, it was your dearly departed husband. So I didn't have to drink. Okay. So my grandmother wasn't such a saint after all. To be fair, this was toward the end of her life. I think her mind was going. I'll give it a go myself. I have a scar on my shoulder blade in the exact shape of the Pales Administrative District. Is that true? My great-grandfather, King Xavier II, never actually had a mustache. I drew one on his royal portrait a long time ago. Are none of these lies? Oh, I can't say I was happy when my father died. This is just sad. I feel lonely all the time. Oh, too drunk. I guess lonely. Maybe Lucidia will come to my bed. Of course you're not lonely with your family in the palace, Your Majesty. That was the lie. No, that was the truth. They're all true, though. That's the problem, is I failed at the game. So I guess I gotta either say that was the lie, or... I failed at the game. I don't know which choice here. That was the truth. And now they're all gonna be like, feeling bad for me? I guess. So what was the lie, Your Majesty? Life, Duchess Cesaro? Life is a lie? This took a real turn. I don't like any of these options. 4, pass out. Yeah, that's probably the option. I drank on 2 of the 3, right? Of the other ones? Let's drink more. I guess I'll go to bed? I don't know. It didn't really ease the tension, but... Was 2 romance? I didn't know that. No, I'll get there myself. It's Lucidia! Of course, Duchess Cesaro. Pull her closer. We're gonna make love. So none of these are good options. You don't want to tell someone who's coming to your bedroom that they're drunk. I guess what's the message from Valen? A false pretense. I kind of feel like 2's the better answer, but... How far does this go? Okay. It's custom tailored. Okay. What was that last note? Average industrial production capacity? Okay. So we just made love with our Duchess. Rufus Greg's royal gossip. King Duchess pops the cork. If you weren't at the Romus the Red uncorking gala Qualis last night, do you even exist? For their big bash, winemaking power couple Lord Eddard and Lady Sefina open their doors to the royal family. The royal council and who's who of the Valkyris elite, from the estate owner and noted wine patron Fabian Toras, to heavyweight investor Gustav Montreal. But the real guest of honor was Duchess and Councillor Lucita Azaro, whose gorgeous gown was turning heads even before His Majesty invited her on stage to pour the first glass together. A fabulous night of dancing, hobnobbing, and of course sampling the wares ensued, though unfortunately, we members of the press were kicked out of the venue before anything juicy could happen. You'll just have to use your imagination. Okay. Oh, thank you for the resub, by the way, Wolf. Just saw that. Came in. And Misfit, thank you for the follow. Large gatherings are prohibited in Zil. Alright, so we are going to go to the next turn, I suppose. It turned into a choose-your-own-adventure porn game. I don't think... It ended before anything too saucy happened, silly. Alright, so we got money again. Why is it only +3? What happened to the +2 due to the good stuff happening with our wine sales? What's this? Prime Minister Sultana calls emergency ITZ board meeting. Okay, so we're going to have to go there and say why they shouldn't nationalize our stuff. New bilateral agreement discussions with Valen. University's under construction. It'll be done in the next day. What else do we spend our money on last turn? I don't even remember. Oh yeah, we upgraded the Air Force, right? What's the military looking like here? We got 2 battleships. I thought we get +1 per turn. I'm confused. Why did our military not expand? It's a different country, Snuffy, and it's a few years before the events of the main game. Didn't that one royal decree we do give us more every turn? Oh, just on completion, not every turn. Damn it. Submarines are expensive. I need more navy, though. I want a big navy. If you train a naval, you will lose a ship. Huh? How does that make sense? You can't train a navy. I don't have enough equipment. I gotta buy equipment to be able to do that. So I need 400 equipment. Which I could buy the equipment. And still have budget left over. And then I could train a naval ship. Then I'd have 3. But I don't know that I want to spend that budget quite yet. What's the transport options? It did say that our transport situation was dire. Public rail transport is 3. Alright, I'm sorry guys, this is a shorter episode because we've got a, frankly, very long diplomatic interaction that's coming up with President Smolak in the next part, which will run through to the conclusion of what was this stream. So we're going to wrap this episode up here. I hope you guys did enjoy it, and the next episode will be a bit longer as we meet with President Smolak and see if we can come to an agreement on how to transition Zil into Rizian hands. But that'll be next time. So until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.